Right, so let's have a look and see. So maybe we'll go from the portal first. So if we have a look under center, we have manage library. Okay, so under this manage library, this is where you'll be able to add in any books you might have, any resources, things like that. What we're hoping to do in the near future as well is sort of to have more of a resource for staff members, share resources and things like that as well. This stage, you obviously got some books. Okay, you can see who's borrowed books and when. Okay, and in here, so let's say this one we can see is available. Okay, so if we click on this one here, this is how we've uploaded the book itself. So given it a title, given it an image, author, description, okay? And you can see a running total of who's borrowed and things like that as well. You can delete the books if necessary. But in here, so your parents could obviously borrow these books. If you want to mark off who's borrowed it from your end, this is where we can do it, okay? So let's have a look through here. Okay, perfect. So this is all our parents. So let's say, there we go. Preston. All right, so let's say Preston marked. Library book successfully marked as borrowed. Okay, so if we have a look here, it now says out today's date by Preston May. Okay, so that's where you can do that. Now, parents will be able to see it here. So on this right-hand side, we've obviously got the parent view. Okay, so they've got all these features nice and easy at the top of their screen here. Okay, so this one here is our library, and they can see all of the books that they're able to borrow, which ones are reserved, etc., etc. Okay, so let's say we obviously want to, get one of these. That one's reserved. Go back. This one here. Okay, so this one here. Are you sure you want to borrow this book? Okay, all right. And then obviously, like it said, please pick up this book when you're in centre next. Okay, the centre email will get a notification if someone has borrowed a book. So that way the centre does know that someone's borrowed a book and they need to have it ready for the next day. Okay, all right. Now let's say, I've finished with the book. I want to mark it off on my side that I've finished. Here again, same button, parents can mark it off. Okay, parents again can leave reviews. That's going to get that communication happening between parents as well. So they'll be able to see each other's reviews, know which ones are good books, which ones are good for their child's age group or their interests, so they can build that communication a bit more. Okay, so that's the library. Okay, so we can filter. Okay, borrowed, available, all. Here as well, latest, popular, and title. Okay, another filter option there. And this one here, so we can add a book. Okay. So we've got here as well, just quickly while we're having a look at these, is the schooling online. Okay, so these are fun little DIY, little activities for your kids to do even at home. Okay, so it gives them that interaction again, having fun with some of these activities, Chinese lanterns, learning Aboriginal history, origami, painting, handprints, all of that. Okay, so they're able to access that there too. Okay, so the swap shop. So this is a kind of like Facebook Marketplace. So your parents are able to post up, I guess, child-related products that they are able to sell. Okay, this is across the board, across OWNA, I guess you could say. We do generally approve them before they do go up. So if we find something that's not really suitable, things like that, they do get reviewed before they get posted up as well. So everything on here has been reviewed, making sure everything's okay with them. And then obviously your parents are able to, grab on here. There's free items, a couple of dollars worth, you can then send an inquiry to them as well. Okay, so they've got that option there. Again, you know, across centres, you're getting parents, you know, getting involved, looking at things together, things like that as well. Okay, so there's always that option there. Same thing up here. So the plus button, they can add a new item. Again, like I said, we do obviously approve it before they go up. So then they can add a photo and everything in there as well. Okay. Oh, a bit painful. There we go. Back. Okay. So there's a couple of those resources as well. Okay, so have a play around with some library. If you've got a couple of resources, a couple of books in your centre, upload them, see how they go, see if you get some parent interest. Make obviously a post saying, you know, great new, I guess, feature. We've added some books into our library. Have a look, have a squiz. Let us know if you want to borrow any, etc., as well. Okay, great little feature there too. Okay, so let's see. All right, so parent feedback on documents, curriculum programming, goals, all sorts of things we can get parent feedback on specifically. Okay, so if we have a look, let's say we have a look at the parent's view. So obviously they can comment on posts, full stop. Okay, so commenting, again, that's getting you feedback from them and what they want and what they're looking for. Okay, so we've got some, so these here, these are custom forms, okay, that we've obviously built previously. Probably not the best one there. Okay, here, so obviously they can fill out these custom forms via their app and submit them through. Okay, what we can do as well, a bit further down, is your curriculum programming. Okay, so here you can see all the curriculum programming. Alrighty, and obviously I can go into them from there. So we're in as Jimmy Carter. So in here, all right, so I can see obviously there'll be a lot more detail in your curriculum programs here. Your parents are able to click here and give a bit of a parent feedback on what the program's like. You know, do they think their children are going to get really involved and absolutely love it? Or do you think that, or parents might want to add a little bit of an extra option in there, you know, oh, my kid would love to do this, if we can maybe build on the program that we have, or my kid really enjoyed the cooking, can we maybe explore this a little bit more in next week's program? So again, you're getting that feedback from them in what they want. It's no use, you know, putting out programs and putting out posts and putting out documents, but never hearing back from the parents whether they're enjoying it or not. You know, you're almost wasting your own time thinking, well, is this worth it? Is your parents actually getting involved in it? Are parents enjoying it? So that's what you want to try and see out of them as well. Okay, so feedback from curriculum programs, what they can as well. Even menus, you know, if they want to have some feedback on menus, again, they can just pop in a comment, you know, say, oh, can we maybe add some extra veggies in or something like that as well. Okay. Again, it's just feedback, you know, it's up to you guys whether you want to take it on board, you know, maybe even just acknowledge it to say, you know, thank you for your feedback. That's probably your best bet as well. So documents and policies. Okay, so obviously you guys have probably uploaded a lot of documents, fact sheets, mental health, others, things like that as well. Okay, so in here, this is our centre agreement form. They can give feedback on those documents and they can acknowledge that they've read them as well. Okay, so if you have some policies that you do really want to encourage your families to acknowledge and, you know, understand, I would be pushing for them to click this acknowledge button. Okay, have it so that there's restrictions until they've acknowledged it. Little things like that if it's in very important document, you know, social media, things like that. Okay, so that you can get that acknowledgement. We can even as well, you guys can set up that they have to answer questions so that you can really truly see they acknowledge it as well. Okay, so you can say yes and no from here. All right, and again, any comments or anything as well. So these documents here that your parents can see, these are created under the center on the portal. Okay, in this center, you'd go useful documents. Here is our acknowledgement questions or quiz. Okay, again, not mandatory, but I guess it gives you that opportunity to ensure that your parents are understanding the document as well. Okay, so we saw them down here. These are all of them here. Okay, you can give some expiries. Obviously, policies do generally tend to expire. You can see who's acknowledged them as well. Okay, you can view any feedback that gets given to you. You can edit. You can do a lot of things in here. Okay, so what you'll do when you create them is you'd actually create the folder name. So as we saw on the simulator, we've called our center policies, fact sheets, materials, mental health, other, etc. We've created these headings, okay? And that's what you'll do there, okay? If you just want policies and procedures, just put policies and procedures. If you want to be that little bit more specific and have a bit more organized into separate folders, that's how you can do it in this step here, okay? You can do it by PDF document or you can do it by URL. All right, you can do it by a specific room only. Okay, you can order those questions into the documents into the most important to the least important to how they're going to show on that list as well. Okay, and obviously that questionnaire there too. Okay, so that's a few areas where they can obviously provide feedback. So things like your curriculum programming, your documents and things like that as well. Similar thing here, so your helpful websites, if you have some websites that you feel are going to be quite useful to your particular centre, again, you can upload them from here as well. Okay, so we've got quite a few belonging, being and becoming, all sorts of things there. And again, that's just done by the portal under centre and then your useful websites. Okay. So this is all the things that you can have your parents accessing, okay? What we have as well is we have little step-by-step guides that you can give your parents to be able to access a lot of these things too, okay? So in here in our tutorial guides, we've updated this a little bit to make it a little bit cleaner because we have so many tutorials in there for you guys. Nice quick little snapshots for you guys to understand how the portal works, how the apps work, and things like that as well. So we've tried to break them down as best as possible into sort of step-by-steps or what they're related to, so you guys can get an understanding as well. Okay. I don't think it's under here. I think it's down. Might even be easier. So here we've even got a parent app walkthrough in itself. So this is for your parents to understand what they can access, what they can send through to you guys, what they can edit, what can they build, what can they do from their point of view. We do encourage all our centres to actually create a dummy parent. So you are able to actually log in, same way you'd set up any other parent, going into your view or carers, okay? Emily's, add Kerry Garden, just test parent. Okay, make up some username, make up some email address, tag yourself to, I don't know, maybe you've got a parent that would allow you to, or again, create a fake child as well. Okay, so that you can see, you don't necessarily have to tag yourself to a child for a lot of it, but at least you'll be able to see the view that your parents will see as well. Okay, so definitely recommend doing that. So you're able to explain to them what you're wanting them to see as well. Okay, so yeah, so our tutorial guys, like I said, we've got the parent app walkthrough. We do have as well, and this is all accessible on the parent app too. Parent, I think it's cheat sheet. Let's see. Let me try this way. They may have named it something differently. Yeah, I'm going to show you where you can actually get it from the parent portal. So on the parent portal, under their settings, what they have here Okay, parent walkthrough video. That's the one I've shown you before. And they've got this app cheat sheet as well. Okay, so the app cheat sheet, very simple little screenshots, shows them how they can view their child, how they can see their daily stats, like their daily information, how much they've eaten, what their nappy changes, toileting, things like that. How they can do posts, obviously uploading images and messages, obviously how they can mark their child not attending. We're going to touch base on a bit of this, book casual days, handover forms. What do we got here? Incident reports. So obviously they're able to do incident reports, medication reports, signing CWAs, signing DDR forms, looking at statements and invoices, and then a little bit of a glossary of what I guess a lot of the symbols and the abbreviations are going to mean as well. Okay, so they have that option on there. You guys have it on yours as well. So if you need to send that through to someone, then you're definitely able to do that as well. So parent walkthrough and the app cheat sheet. Okay. I just wanted to quickly have a look as well. You guys have a newsletter option. Okay. So if you want to start maybe building some newsletters to go out, maybe monthly or something like that, and just to give you, I guess, parents a bit of an overview, something to have a look at. So here, Sunnyside newsletter, increasing parent engagement, bit of a little blurb, some photos, activities that they can do from home, and little things like that as well. Okay, getting that involvement so parents are, continuing on the learning that the kids are doing in centre and building on that in the home environment as well. So building that across the paths. A few other ones we've got here as well. So healthy growing development, learning science, first 1,000 days, anything you feel like you want to, create, you can either make it as a URL or you can make it as a PDF document. Now what will happen here as well as an option, publish to timeline and send notification out. So on your timeline, what you'll see, it should be one here. Yeah, oh, too far. So what you'll just see here is new newsletter available now. Have a read of our latest newsletter, Sunnyside, okay? So your parents can get that notification. It goes out as an announcement, okay, to tell them there is a newsletter out there for them. So that's another feature, okay, where you can get that involvement happening too. Alrighty. All right, parent app. This is cool. All right. So if you guys haven't had to play around with a parent app, I definitely recommend it so that you can start educating your parents of what they can be doing. Okay. It's all about educating the parents on their capabilities too. All right. So like I said, this right-hand screen here, this is your parent app. All right. First one here, similar to what you guys have on yours, you've obviously got a calendar. All right. They can see events. If you've created an RSVP to your events, then they can obviously RSVP for them. Okay, we clearly do not have RSVPs for any of ours here, but you get the gist. They'll be able to do that there. What they can do as well, they can add all of these events to their own calendar. Okay, so that obviously, however they've got their calendar set up, they'll be notified of anything that comes through as well. Alrighty. Here we can also get a breakdown of all the events. It's not going to work for us because obviously we're on a simulator, but that would give you just an overview of all the events as well there. Okay, so we've got a lot of events in here. Okay, so what you can do as well, plus button, they can obviously create a post as well. All right, so if they want all the parents to be able to see it, all right, they will be able to obviously leave that open. Okay, if they just want a couple of staff members to see it, they can obviously select that from there as well. Okay, uploading photos, same principle as what you guys would do. All right, they'll be able to upload photos as well. All right, and you get the gist there. Went to my photos. Cancel. There we go. So then that's how they can do it here as well. Okay. Let's see. What they can do as well, casual bookings. So if you've opened up casual bookings, awesome, which we've actually done some here as well. You can obviously select if you have multiple children, which child you want to book in for that casual booking. So let's say I want to book Halo in. She's normally in the caterpillar room, okay? But maybe for some reason I want to book her in vacation care. I can obviously pick that as well. I can pick what week I'm wanting to book it for too, okay? As long as you've made them available, they'll say available, okay? So I can book them in here, book this day, okay? If I see that these are unavailable, okay, let's say next week's, but I'm really hoping that, they open some up, parents are able to be alerted when a casual booking gets opened up, okay? Then they still need to jump here and book it, but at least they'll get that notification to say it's there as well, okay? So you can see here if they have any casual bookings booked or if they've asked for notifications for a specific day as well, okay? That's there. Again, to that plus icon, the handover form. Handover forms are, a lot of our centres absolutely love these because it gives the educators, it gives the staff a better idea of, what kind of morning the kids have had. Have they been cooperative? Have they been eating? Have they had a good sleep? Or, did they have a rough night? Are they having trouble eating? Little things like that can make a big difference to how the educators are able to care for those kids throughout the day. Okay, so this gives educators a much better idea about how the day is going to run for these kids. You can put in what time they woke up, when they had breakfast, what they had for breakfast, nappy changes, bottle or feeds, and any additional comments as well. Had a rough night because of such and such. It's teething, things like that. Okay, so if you can, definitely get your parents to utilize this a little bit more. Like I said, it's nice and easy as long as they're logged in on their app. Plus button, handover, fill in a couple of these, send it off, and then you guys as staff, educators, everyone will get a notification to say that handover form has been created. From your view, you will be able to see it. Let me go here. Under the child's daily information section, okay? So it'll come in under here, I think. I might have an example. Let's see if I did one for them. Okay, maybe not every one. But yeah, that's where it'll show for them, okay? So that you guys can obviously see what was in that handover as well, okay? I think I did one back a while ago, but that's okay. All right, so that's the handover form. All right, so you guys will be able to see it via the staff or by the child's profile in here. All right. Again, so they can also mark child not attending. Okay, so this is for Halo in the caterpillar room. Okay, on day such and such. Reason, if you want to, and obviously a signature to say, yes, that's happened. Are you sure? Okay, perfect. Now that will automatically mark that child not attending for you guys. And again, you get a notification, you get an alert as well. Okay, so that way you guys are aware as well. All right. So same thing, they obviously get notifications in here as things get posted. Okay, in here. So they are able to change a couple of details as well. So they can update their address, they can update their email address, suburb, mobile phone numbers, CRN. A lot of parents unfortunately get CRNs wrong, so then they can upload it in here for you as well, okay? So that way you can have the most up-to-date information and a photo if they wish to as well there, okay? They're able to reset their password, they can reset their PIN. This is the contact center or obviously contact information for the center, okay? So as long as you guys have that again on your portal set up, then obviously they'll be able to see it here. Staff profiles. So again, really good tool so that your parents get to know your team a little bit better, okay? So in here, we can obviously build on here. We've got little blurbs. Okay. Then they can see what posts, this staff member pops up from day to day. Okay. So back in here, settings, staff profiles, that's all the staff. Okay. Building that relationship, getting to know them. All right. Like we've done in that example one, every Friday, meet the team posts. Okay. Get all your staff members to write up a little bit of a blurb. What are their hobbies? What do they like doing? Why did they pick childcare? Little things like that helps to get them to build that relationship in there as well. Okay. And the rest we've sort of gone through as well. All right, so the app cheat sheet and everything as well. So that's what they're able to customize in that respects too. Okay. All right, so that's that. So parent involvement in child's learning. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to sort of, I guess, cover in here as well. Is things like children's goals. Okay, obviously, to get to the gist of what a child's goal is going to be, you're going to need that communication between the parents and the educators themselves. Parents are going to have a pretty good idea about what goals they want for their children, and then educators are going to have the tools to reach that goal. So there definitely needs to be that communication to what the educator feel is going to be achievable for that child, but also what the parents are wanting that child to achieve. You need to find that sort of sweet spot in between. Okay, so there's obviously a few options. You can obviously write a post, to those parents to give you feedback on what they're wanting their child's goals to be. Okay, and then that way you guys can communicate on what the goals will be. You can encourage, generally speaking, when a child enrolls in the centre, you're already going to have that chat with the parents for what their goals are going to be. Okay, obviously you might review these goals every so often. So again, you can do it through a post. You can get those parents to come in and have a chat about the goals, etc., etc. Okay, so it's up to you which way you sort of want to build that, but definitely having that communication with the goals so that basically parents are working on them at home and educators are working on them in the centre to hopefully reach those goals for that child as soon as possible as well. Okay, so that's the option there. Another really cool idea as well that you guys could, implement too is involving the families in the learning. Okay, a lot of these really big centers or even your smaller centers there, you'll have a lot of parents that have a lot of hobbies, that have a lot of jobs, careers, skills that you can use or utilize to help your children with their learning. Okay, so reach out to the families like our example one here. Wanting to include as many of you as possible in the development of the children's learning. If you have a skill, a passion, a talent, resource, hobby, etc., that you think the kids would love, please let one of the educators know or send us a message. Okay, so that's again getting those families involved with the learning and using, I guess, the resources that you already have on hand that are in front of you and can be utilized as well. We've had a few centers that have done this before and they've found it really, really helpful and a very big relationship builder, okay, between parents, educators, and the children as a whole as well. Okay, so a really good resource there. Alrighty. A couple of sort of other features that you can utilize that's going to help out with that, I guess, parent engagement from the portal side of things. You can also see what parents are actually sort of logging on and which ones are not. Okay. Then what you might do is have a discussion or have a chat with those that aren't logging on. Maybe see, is it just a password issue or is it an app issue where they're just not sure what app it's meant for, etc., etc. And that might again build that communication with the parents as well. Okay. So you'll see which parents are really, really, eager to see what their kids are doing And then you'll see those ones that haven't been on, never logged on and things like that in this one here, okay? What you can do as well is you can actually send inactive parents an invite. So it kind of just pushes them to try and have a login on the app as well, okay? Just make sure if there's any deactivated parents that you have actually deactivated them on the portal as well, because obviously they're going to show in here too because they haven't been active, okay, if you haven't deactivated them. Okay, so that's where you can utilize the app usage side of things. All right, a few other things. So we've obviously got feedback forms here as well. This is where, this is more if a parent has come in and given you feedback for you guys as educators to add them in here, just so that you have a record that you've had that chat. So that's in there for you guys as well. Okay. What else can we utilize? Any sort of questions or maybe ideas that other educators, other centers have used before as well? You know, there's, I guess, an endless amount of resources and ways that you can try and get those parents' engagement. But I guess at the end of the day, it's educating your parents on how they can engage with you. Okay. Like I said at the beginning, a lot of parents are busy and they just want quick, easy ways that, you know, they can scroll through, give you feedback on things, have a chat with you, things like that as well. Okay. What else is there? So even things like the daily information as well, making sure that you are recording, you know, as true as possible and in the right time frames about what they're eating, what their sleeping is, you know, things like that. So in here, you obviously see how many serves they have, what's on the menu, things like that. So making sure that you're filling that out as soon as possible so that parents are able to keep in touch with what their what their children are eating and everything as well there. Okay. We ran over handover forms, so that's really good. If you want to as well, with your app configuration, what you can do is if you want your parents writing a lot more posts, you can make sure that they actually post to private automatically. Okay. So that way, obviously, it's kind of just goes to you guys as staff members. But if you're happy for your parents to be posting, you know, so that other parents can see, you know, what they did on the weekend or, you know, family events, things like that, they can obviously publish that to all the parents as well. Okay. So again, have a look in here in the app configuration of how you can maybe customize how your parents can get involved. Birthdays as well. So what OWNA has done for children's birthdays, we do automate a happy birthday message to go out onto the timeline. So again, that often gets a bit of parent engagement, you know, with other parents saying happy birthday, have a good day, you know, things like that as well. So that definitely gets the engagement happening too. Okay. Custom forms. So you mentioned how you guys can use that. Perfect. Newsletters. So that's always a good one to have as well. Okay. And yeah, basically just opening up resources that parents can use as well. So having obviously those useful documents, those useful websites, having resources that are going to help parents with either parenting or, you know, time management or engaging their kids at home. You want to have that flow between home and at the center as well. Okay. All right, that's probably all I have for today. Any other questions or anything at all? If not, thank you guys for joining in. Hopefully we've gone all right with obviously the being live on Facebook for the first time this time round. We are going to try and keep that up. We've obviously got Peter going through more CCS on Thursday, which he will be live on Facebook as well. So if you want to touch on that one, I believe that one's at 1 p.m. at the moment. If that changes, obviously there'll be an email that goes out. But we do send all reminder emails to the centres as well. about when our webinars will be back on too. I think next week's webinar for Tuesday is going to be more on the rostering side of things. So again, if you want to jump on for that one is going to be next week on Tuesday, hopefully. And then, yeah, we'll be back to the CCS for Thursdays as well. Okay. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good rest of your night. And hopefully we'll see you for the next ones as well. Cheers, guys. Thanks, Wissam. Cheers.